Boss lets me drive the car for the first time and all I have to do, bog it.
Last week, we tackled the infamous Powerlines track, and we got a little taste of what Perth's four-wheel drive scene has to offer. This week, we head down southwest to tackle Western Australia's coastlines. But views like this always come with a heavy price.
Nice drive 4 hours south of Perth. We're ready to hit some four-drive tracks, hit the beach and test out the cars.
There's not that many beaches here where you get such a high up lookout to see such a wide view.
Be able to just look out, see that crystal clear water, beautiful white beach, you can see for miles. It's a beautiful lookout spot, so it's definitely a place you want to check out.
Being able to go out on that deck and look down at the beach was the perfect way to kick it off. It is absolutely breathtaking, a beautiful spot.
Had a few weary people in the crew. We definitely had our doubts about the conditions of the beach in terms of softness, and there was even a vehicle on the beach already that looked like it was in strife.
We're going to want pretty low PSI. Jesse? Yes. 6 PSI?
Yeah?
No, 15?
No, 15,
12.
16 PSI is probably a good start for down south if you've got beadlocks and the world's your oyster.
You can see I cut up the sandies. It looks like there's one car already stuck out there. We might give them a hand if they are stuck. But it's pretty soft, guys. It doesn't look too bad, but if this is like it is, Jesse reckons Bornheim's going to be pretty wild. Well, here we are on the southern coastline of Western Australia. The beach, the weather, everything is looking absolutely perfect. It's time to air down and hit the beach. Let's have some fun in Western Australia.
Bit of a mixed bag down here. Some of the beaches are super soft, some of them are actually quite firm, and the sand's almost squeaky.
Dropped them down to 14. We were just talking with a couple of locals. They were saying it's pretty soft down there. So yeah, hopefully that'll do us good for the day.
Yeah, hopefully we won't get stuck.
Yeah, too right.
Get the tyres down to about 15 PSI. You have to be a bit careful. Some of the softer ones you might want to go down to about like 10, but it does depend on the rim and exactly the tyre you're doing.
There are a stack of different four-wheel drive tyres on the market, but how do you work out which one is the right one for you? For real four-wheel drivers, this is where all the hard work is done. The all-terrain has a much more tightly packed tread face, so it's going to give you longer lasting tread and more life on the bitumen, yet still give you good performance and traction when you're doing a little bit of off-road work. If you feel you need a little bit more bite, a little bit more aggressiveness, a rugged terrain can be the perfect tyre for you. But if that's not enough, the mud tyre is the ultimate in off-road traction. It's stronger, it's got more protection, it's got deeper tread to ensure that you get the maximum traction and performance in the toughest terrain. So get an understanding for which tyre is going to suit your needs. Match up the right tyre and you'll have a much happier off-road performance. Hey Victor, the lookout was perfect. The beach looks beautiful.
Yeah, mate, the beach down at the southwest always turns it on. It's very rare to come down here and it not look absolutely stunning all year round. What a great way to start the trip off.
Jason, great to have you along, and you've brought the family with you.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Wouldn't have missed this one for the world, and if I thought I could get out of here without bringing the kids with me, I had another thing coming.
It was soft on top, but it had a really good firm base, so it didn't drag you around too much. You could sort of drive through them and pick wherever you wanted to go.
Justin and Liam, how's the BYD faring on the beach?
Well, yeah, we're really excited to be on the trip. We're really excited to have the BYD. We just got it modified. We did some testing when we had it stock, so really excited to get it out with some mods and see how she goes.
You guys are all good? Awesome. They're just getting changed. They're not bogged at all. Been for a swim, I reckon.
We're so blessed. We just got the most amazing conditions. Denmark is just, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, it never disappoints.
Awesome to see all the locals are out surfing, making the most of the awesome weather. Kicking myself, I didn't take any boardies, but hey, always next time.
Sam and Jack, how are you guys going?
We're going great. Great to be on this trip with the boys and see where the weekend takes us.
It's always awesome for us guys coming over from the East Coast. Like, we know you guys have got to travel a fair few hours to get to some spots, but hell, the spots are beautiful when you get there.
It's looking absolute beautiful right now, crystal clear waters and the sand nice and white.
It's always just amazing when you cruise along. You've got this beautiful scenery to one side, the ocean on the left. You're kind of right in the middle, cruising along. Obviously, we knew today going to be a lot of sand and you're going to get all kinds of things thrown at you. That's the nature of going off-roading. But that's the benefit of having a good set of seat covers on board. You can trust that our covers are going to protect your car. You don't have to worry about it. They're tailored fit, tailored to every vehicle. We don't do anything that is a one-size-fits-all. We want them to be a complement to the vehicle as well as an asset. You can just focus on enjoying yourself. Gives you that peace of mind.
So in typical Simon Christie fashion, within the first couple of minutes, found us a water crossing. I wasn't even expecting to find a water crossing, so it was just nice to break it up.
Once you got into the actual water, it wasn't very deep. Probably only came up to, halfway up to the wheels. There was even dog walking through it.
A lot of these beaches have these rivers that will only flow during winter. You've got to be really careful. If there is a sandbar to drive across, that can be super soft, especially if it has only just recently silted up.
All right, Jack and Sam, go a little bit more to the right, I reckon, please.
So we assessed how deep the water was, went through, it wasn't very deep at all, so it was nice and easy to start off the day.
I think a few people were tempted to go a bit further right and push the limits a little bit, see how deep it was, but cruised over nice and easy.
Go a bit wider out, Victor. Give us a show, bit of a splash. Just don't damage a transfer case, please.
I was going to say, mate, you know my track record with water crossings.
Transfer case is stuck in low range again after that water crossing.
But we'll see how we go.
Let's go, Victor, let's go.
As simple as the crossing looked, thought was in the back of my head of here we go again, ghosts of the previous episode. I was grateful to be able to knock that on the head nice and early.
All right, Jason, you like it on the wild side. Let's go right out wide to the right. Come on.
We made our way across the water crossing. That was no dramas. We already had soft tyres. You wouldn't want to do it with hard tyres because you don't want to get bogged in there.
So someone managed to egg on Jesse in the Tank 500 to try and go a bit deeper in the water. Doesn't have a snorkel or anything like that, but being such a big car, it was just able to handle that with no issues at all.
There's something slightly unnerving about taking an electric vehicle through what is borderline a saltwater crossing.
A big thing at the moment is we're copping a little bit of heat for this vehicle. Apparently it's not a proper four-wheel drive. Apparently the EV system on it will fail and short out in water.
Too easy, no problem at all.
Knowing how these vehicles are constructed, because we work on them daily and knowing the systems that are in place, we decided to go a bit deeper.
We'll see if we can get around the back and come down that little hill.
Oh, yep.
Oh.
Land's good. That looks pretty deep there.
Go to the left if you want, but it's not that deep.
We tackled the water crossing, went a bit deeper into it.
That's a bit deeper. That's nice.
So he went back through, again, hit the deeper section, tail lights under the water, looked pretty good, made it out the other end, nice and safe.
Even lost his number plate on the way through.
Yeah, I think there was a point where even it went a bit deep and he sort of went, no, hang on, and adjusted and come around a little bit different. Which is, again, very similar to last time. He went out a bit deeper and then the nose, give the headlights a wash.
Well, that was a lot deeper than expected.
Had no issues. We drove through it like an absolute boss. It was really, really good.
That was cool.
That got deep for a second.
That was good, that was good.
So So after completing the water crossing, we've set off inland, which is quite easy. There's a number of tracks on the right-hand side and it takes you straight in. Absolutely awesome, you know, nice little flexi spots, a couple small hill climbs, very enjoyable. It's just nice to break it up from a bit of beach driving. Lots of tight turns and twisties, so yeah, definitely a lot of fun navigating all the vehicles through.
Sam and Jack, this will all be pretty easy for the Land Cruiser.
Cruiser's eating it for breakfast. Well, actually, lunchtime, bloody oath.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit hungry, it must be time. But it's just awesome to be out on the tracks, isn't it? This is beautiful through here.
Absolutely wicked through here. Nice change of scenery. Bush out here in the back of the beach. Absolutely lovely to drive through.
Harley, what gear have you got it in?
We're just in drive.
That's great, thanks mate. Awesome information from the expert four-wheel drivers.
Mate, it's the first time in the Amarok. I'm not really sure what's going on. There's all these buttons and triggers and beeping and whatnot, so I'm used to a Land Cruiser where there's none of that.
Yeah, well, it's an Amarok. Does it even have a transfer case?
We're still waiting till we get off the road and find the track.
Oh, them's fighting words. Bring it on. So Jesse, we've done a little bit of rough stuff and we're bouncing around a bit on these nice, soft, gentle tracks.
Yep.
But the suspension setup you've done in here, how have you got it to ride so well?
So the Tank 500 from the factory actually has really good geometry and really good bones to be built with. So what we've done is we've put a monotube shock absorber, coupled it with a pair of king springs front and rear, and extended sway bar link. Basic suspension upgrade, 2.5-inch lift, bolts straight in, and yeah, you get instant performance and gratification out of it.
What else have you done to fit these like 35-inch tyres?
Nothing. This is a factory car minus a bolt-on lift kit and a set of 35s. Very impressive.
The changes from that coastal scrub into dense bushland and a bit of mud, really interesting drive along the coast.
But on that track, you wouldn't even know that you were that close to the coast, would
No,
you?
absolutely not. No.
So as we entered this little beach, it was a pretty nice little spot. If you want to take some photos and out there of your vehicle.
Awesome, dropping back onto the beach. How good's this? Another good view.
Mud to beach just like that.
Beautiful spot to pop out to have a nice view of the beach again with the rocks.
Yeah, it is, mate, it is, and that's what we were talking about before. It's at that payoff at the end of the tracks, and then you pop out to beautiful spots like this, you know. Part of the journey, but it's
How awesome is this, Jason?
Sorry, mate, what was that?
How awesome is this? It's stunning.
Yeah, mate, no complaints back here.
This was the perfect spot to get some nice photos. But we're here for Dingo Beach, so let's turn around and keep our adventure going.
Beautiful little day at the beach.
Oh, it's magnificent down here. Good weather, nice dunes, pristine beaches.
It's just, for us Victorians, we don't have a beach to drive on realistically, so this is just beautiful. We love it.
I didn't realise that was the case. Maybe we really are spoilt for choice.
God, we're living in the future. Look, we've got electric cars, flying robots.
What, BYD's electric?
Yeah.
How do you know?
This is just stuff of dreams when we were kids.
From here, it was just a 15-minute drive through the forest to get to Dingo Beach. But not without some bumps along the way.
Hold on to your knickers.
Holding on to the iPad.
Hold to the iPad.
Jack and Sam, I sort of feel like we're up fairly high and we've got a short distance. We've actually got to get down fairly low, so there should be a bit of a decent track ahead of us.
Yeah, Simon, hopefully it's a nice steep drop off, so we're going to have something a little bit different. We've gone from beach, back into the bush, back to the beach. Now we're back in the bush, so let's see where this truck's going to take us.
That moment where you get a gap in the trees and you see the water on the horizon and you know it's a little taster of what you're heading to. I always get a sense of excitement when you see that, especially when you've been in amongst trees in the narrow tracks. When you get that moment where you get your first glimpse of the ocean, you know that you're coming up to the entry to the beach.
That is WA, if you're putting it on a postcard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
That's a view.
How's the view?
Yeah, it's magnificent.
Look at that.
Oh, perfect white beaches.
As it opened up, you was able to see the winding track going all the way down to the beach, so we couldn't wait to get down there. We heard that the sand was a bit softer down there, so we definitely wanted to see how the BYD handled the softer stuff.
I've been as far south as Pemberton. We've done a fair bit of work out there on the beaches and absolutely loved it, but this has taken WA to a whole new level for me, guys. This is just amazing.
The views were so good, we had to stop and take some photos before tackling the soft sand.
Getting new tyres for your 4WD is super exciting. But one little bit of advice, don't judge the behaviour and performance of your tyres in the first 500 kilometres. There are a few things going on where your tyres need to settle in before you truly get a grip on how well they're actually going to perform on and off-road. One of the key factors to this is an oily substance that coats the tyres to protect them during shipping. And it takes a little bit of time for this to get washed off whilst you're driving. And once the tyres have settled in correctly, you'll then be able to experience the full capacity of what the tyres can do and the adventures that they're going to take you on.
We started to navigate a bit of a steep track down to Dingo Beach. As we come down, it was a little bit soft, but you just let the car do its thing, work its way down.
Guys, this is just amazing, incredible views, and I reckon we'll stop down the bottom and have some lunch. What do you think?
It's a pretty magic place to be stopping for some lunch.
I think it's the perfect spot.
Once we got close to the end, it got tighter and tighter, a little bit of pinstriping, all the usual deal.
We're driving through the scrub, and then next minute the scenery changed, the ground changed.
How cool is this? Look at the colours.
Beautiful scenery. Oh my God, that was just such an amazing view to have.
We're doing it, Emmy. Hatzaks are strong.
3.5 tonne on the beach.
Happy, you can do it.
I always forget, if you turn the car off, the traction control comes straight back on again.
What's traction control, mate? We don't have that stuff.
Disappointed I didn't bring one of the rods. Beach looks perfect. Might be able to court lunch.
How are you going, Jason? Catching up?
We'll get there eventually, mate. I'm feeling every bit of that 3.5 tonne today. As we turned around, I could feel the car was labouring. Again, we were heavy. We just ran out of steam and sunk it to the belly rails.
We're a bit stuck.
Jason, does somebody down there need some help?
Yeah, mate.
Let's get the Amarok around with some recovery gear to pull him out, please.
I have to go for the wind dive.
Our first car bogged for the day, it had to be Jason in the Hilux. We've got the Amarok ready to do a recovery. So let's get the tread boards out. Let's see if we can help Jason get his expedition back on the road.
I'll self-recover every opportunity I get, provided I've got enough time up my sleeve.
You're not bogged if you self-recover.
That's right. I'll pay you $2 if you dig it out.
Promise to go for the tractor.
$2 per tyre.
At the front, babe.
It was good to see the whole family getting in there, and even the kids are in there digging away.
There are two parts to preparation with a recovery like this. First of all, you've got to dig all of that excess sand out from the front of the tyres so you can get the traction boards in. The next thing you can do is dig around behind the tyres and under the chassis to alleviate some of that bellied out problem that's also caused the vehicle to become stuck.
It is quicker sand.
Tyre pressures are so important, but what is the right tyre pressure for the different sorts of terrain? Let's see if we can find out. Putting your tyres down is one of the most critical points of four-wheel driving for three very important reasons. First of all, it gives you more traction on the tracks. Secondly, it protects the tyre from damage. And thirdly, it helps protect the environment. As a guide, we say go down to about 25 PSI when you're on normal bush tracks, and then let the tyre down to maximise your comfort and traction without having the tyre too soft or too low. So understand your vehicle, understand your driving techniques, think about the terrain, and get out and observe your tyres and see how they're looking at different pressures. Once you've got all of that sand out of the way, get your traction boards in and go at it really lightly. So let's get Jason back behind the wheel and see how we go.
Alrighty, so a bit heavy. Could probably drop some more pressure out of the tyres. We've got the treads underneath. Dug a little bit out in front of us. Let's see how we go here. Up and away. Once we popped up and out of those, I just pulled forward, not enough to sink ourselves again, obviously. We're out, but we're still going to need to drop some tyre pressures, I reckon.
This is a perfect example of letting the terrain decide what air pressure you should be running.
Considering we'll just bog, we did jump out the treads, but it's still just working really hard, and I'm just going to end up bogging myself down again. So now we're out, we're just going to drop the tyre pressures. I'm going to go down to 12 pound. Before that, I was on 18 pound. You're not looking for the wider bag out on your tyres, you're looking for that extra length. It's like running snowshoes, you know, you want to get that big footprint on the sand. Oh, we're just about there now. I'm using the Morphlate system, so this is the tyre hub. Now I've set that to 12 pound. It's got a couple of log-offs inside, and that's just going to set it to 12. And that's us.
That was our first recovery for the day.
After we dug out that car of Jason's, Justin let me have a drive for the day. The BYD tried taking off again and absolutely sank into the white sand.
Boss lets me drive the car for the first time, and all what I have to do? Bog it. Yeah, we're gonna need the shovel back.
There's a beach shark over there.
Yeah. I'm welcome to get yourself out.
Same deal, we've all jumped in together as a team to help get him out.
BYD vehicle is at 16 PSI. We recommend they go down to 12, but they'll have a crack. They'll drive themselves out first, they'll see how that goes, and if they keep the momentum up, they'll be all good. But I reckon 12 PSI would be the go.
Once we got out of that bit of a bog that we had, we pulled up, had lunch in a nice little stunning spot. Rocks off to our right, water straight in front of us, nice white sand underneath our feet.
Loving life.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Our bug out trays are the most heavy duty tray on the market. They're designed to move from one vehicle to the next, meaning that your vehicle is actually the disposable part. You set up your tray once and you can carry that over across multiple vehicles. The whole thing's modular, so if at the start you decide you don't need under tray boxes or tray sides or the headboard water tank or the trundle drawer, don't put them on. Later on down the track, if you want it, we can send it to you. You can lift the deck, bolt this stuff in yourself. Everything's super strong, still lightweight, and we can option these things up to absolute expedition spec.
And everything that we build is 100% Australian made.
Bloody oath.
So after lunch, we filled our bellies up, we decided to get going.
And once again, the BYD got bogged.
Oh my God.
This is Australia's toughest beach exit, and we've come to conquer it.
Join us in 2 weeks' time as we continue our journey through Denmark.